Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to take a 2D Illustrator logo and bring it into the free Cinema 4D Lite that comes with After Effects. Okay, so we're going to start here in Illustrator, and I've just drawn out this very simple logo, but this could be anything. One thing to note is if you have like strokes, which these were just paths, you want to change them into shape layers. You can do that by going Object and Path and Outline Stroke. So once you've got your logo built out, go up to File and go Save As. And I'm going to save this here. And one important thing is to make sure you're on an Illustrator 8 file. That's something that Cinema 4D can read. So make sure it's Illustrator 8. We can save that. Then we're going to jump over to After Effects, brand new project here. Just go up to File, New, Maxon Cinema 4D file. That will open Cinema 4D Lite. If your Cinema 4D looks like this and you want to follow along with the old layout, just go up to the top right hand corner, click the new layout slider and hit Standard. And all we need to do now is go and find that file that we saved from Illustrator and just drop it into our comp. You'll get this. Make sure Connect Splines is off, Group Splines is okay, click OK, and that will bring it into Cinema 4D. It's quite small at the moment, but we'll scale it up in a moment. Let's just start by getting rid of these outside boxes. They always seem to come in when importing from Illustrator. And we can just scale this text up by holding T on the keyboard until you get the little box icons and just clicking and dragging, and that will scale up. So at the moment this is just splines which won't actually render, so we need to give this some geometry, and we're going to use an extrude for that. So just clicking on this little hollow box at the top and then folding down this logo into all its paths, shift clicking them and throwing them under the extrude, and you can see that's done one of them. One thing we need to make sure is selected is this hierarchical. Once we click that, we're going to see the whole logo have some geometry. If you find these tutorials useful, please consider giving it a like and subscribe. Loads more coming in the future. So quickly, to navigate around your scene, you can either come up to these little icons here, these three icons, which is zoom, pan and orbit, or you can click and drag the 1, 2 or 3 keys. So 1 click and drag is move, 2 click and drag is zoom in, 3 click and drag is orbit. One thing you might notice is obviously this D doesn't look quite right. We need this kind of object to be punching out the middle of this. So if we actually find that, which is this path here, in the full version of Cinema 4D there is a delete and connect option. Unfortunately we don't have this in Lite, but there is a little workaround I'll show you, which we can take 2 extrudes and put both paths underneath. So making them a child of the 2 we just made, and then just coming up to the boolean object, bringing that into our scene. All this does is kind of minus one object from the other. So if we put both of these underneath, as you can see that back one's disappeared now, and we find that back one which is highlighted like that, and we can just bring that forward holding this axis handle until it cuts out that middle, as you can see there. Obviously if we want this to go all the way through, we just need to make sure the offset's a little further, and as you can see, we can see through it. You can repeat that process for the other objects. One thing to definitely do is just to put caps on, which basically, as we can see here, it just gives everything a little bit of a rounding. This is really important when working with 3D objects, that things don't have a perfect edge. Otherwise, when you put lights in the scene, things won't really catch on them. So that's that. So I'm going to save this Cinema 4D project, then jump back to After Effects. So that's imported that Cinema 4D file. From here, all we have to do, throw it into a composition, and we can render out from here. So we're looking at this as a draft render at the moment, so we can change this to current, where it will give us our final result, or current draft is sometimes just a little bit faster to kind of play things back. As you might have noticed, this has come in just under kind of HD, so to fix that, all we would do is go back to our Cinema 4D, go up to this little cog icon, and you can change this to 1920 by 1080. Save that, back to After Effects, and just throw that into another comp. And now we've got a full HD comp, which we can look at through our current. If you want to learn how to use materials to color this in, there's a link in the top now. And if you're just getting started with 3D, I've got a free course over on my website that takes you right from the beginning. There's a link in the description below.